Welcome back. Today I've got a King Cutter back blade for my 3-point hitch for my tractor, and that blade is 8 feet wide. Good size blade, good heavy duty. It pivots here and it also pivots this way. That's what this mechanism up here does, and the release for the angle pivot is back here. What I use this blade for probably 99% of the time is back dragging when I do the snow plowing on the driveway. It's just a secondary pickup device, if you will, for snow. I use the front plow on the tractor, and then I drop this to scrape out the snow from back behind me, like if I got to get up close to the garage doors or anything like that. And I've got a video on that showing how I utilize this back blade. And I'm going to finally restore this thing, get it cleaned up. I just got done pressure washing it, blowing it off, and now what I'm going to do is do some alterations to this thing. I know some of the newer models, they come with a kickstand. So I'm going to incorporate a kickstand on this. So when I unhook it, I can put that kickstand down and it holds this front 3-point mechanism up in the air so it doesn't drop into the dirt, and just make it that much more difficult to get hooked up, and keeps this portion of it out of the dirt. Rather than replacing these, what I did was cut this one off here and here, and it had a substantially large crack in it. And I don't know how you get a crack in something like that without destroying the rest of it, but when I got it, it had this crack in it, and this thing was just completely bent out of shape and twisted and everything else. There's still a little bit in there, you can see, but what I did was cut this off, put it over on the anvil over there, pounded it back into shape, and then I had to weld a plate to the underside of this, and I'll show you that in a second. But what I did was I ground out that big split or crack in that, ground it out, and I had to weld a plate onto the bottom of it. I think maybe you can see that little piece of plate under there. What that did was it gave me some backing material, so when I was welding that, it wasn't just blowing through. Because like I said, this is pretty thin stuff here. And with that crack in there, there was really no steel left to weld to. So I thought the easiest way to fix that would be to weld a plate onto the backside. Then I could weld that crack back up, grind it smooth and make it look good, and then just re-welded it back onto the frame. This one over here wasn't anywhere near beat up or as bad, but I did take some of the bends and twists out of it. So it's a little bit better. Something else I added to this, and it's one thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Every time I unhook this thing, I've got to drop this down into the dirt. And some of you guys may recognize this little kickstand here. It's off of the trailer that I just got because I've done some modifications to it and didn't need this on the little tilt trailer that I have. So I took and repurposed it onto this thing, and now I've got a kickstand for this back blade. When I unhook it from the 3-point hitch here, it doesn't want to just drop down on me. I put this kickstand down, and I think I showed you, if you've watched the other video, you just pull the pin out of here and slide that up and repin it back in, and let me see if I can get it. So like that. So now it's completely out of the way. The 3-point mechanism comes back towards us and won't interfere with that, and the top link's nowhere close. So now when I'm done using it and want to unhook it from the 3-point, just slide it down, put it in there, and then I can unhook easily from the 3-point and not have this drop in the ground. I wanted to show you something real quick here, what I use when I'm trying to remove old paint, things like that. A little bit of rust, but it's more so for paint. But they're called the Avanti Pro quick strip disc and goes on your angle grinder. And what I've found is these tend to work really, really well to remove that paint. They don't gum up like a flap disc does or flap wheel. Now those are much better for bare metal, but these really seem to work well. The only downside to them is they do wear out pretty quick. So you want to try to stay away from sharp corners, things like that. But on nice, good, flat surfaces, these discs work really well for stripping the paint off. They don't build that heat up and smear the paint like a flap disc does. So just a tip for the day. I get these at Home Depot, but you can go on Amazon and there is just brand after brand after brand. They seem to work really well for stripping paint. So I guess that's the next process. We're going to go ahead and push this thing outside and start getting some of the old paint off of it. And I guess I'm doing it outside to eliminate the amount of dust that would be in here. Well, looks like I got it pushed back inside just in time. All right, here's the paint that I'm going to use. I think I got this at, it was either our local Tractor Supply or Home Depot. I don't remember, but this is the same paint that I painted my big lawn roller with. Truck, tractor, and implement and equipment. Direct to metal for residential use. Oil-based gloss. Kubota orange. Any of you that have ever used this know that this stuff sticks to just about everything, but it seems like it takes almost a week to dry. So with painting this thing, I don't have any need for it here for quite some time. At least I'm hoping I don't. I'll get it painted here in the shop, and in a couple days it should be at least tacky enough or tacked up enough that once it quits raining out there, I'll be able to wheel it out, put it in the other building. But I won't be painting things like the pins, so that'll give me a place to grab hold and maneuver. And I don't have intentions on painting the bottom cutting edge of this thing. But everything else, I'm going to go orange on it. And if I need to put some details of black in there to give it a little bit of a better look, I don't know. It just all depends on how well the orange covers it, turns it out, and you can bet what sticker's going there on each side. Well, I got it all painted up. It's dry. I even got my signature decals on it. Couldn't be any happier with how that turned out. Now I've got a lot more years of protection on that thing. Shouldn't rust anymore. Everything should be all good to go for next plow season. So if you like the video, which I worked pretty darn hard on at editing this one just for the fun of it, give me a thumbs up. hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.